Hi guys, how are you doing? Today is the 2nd of February 2023. How quickly is this year going? We're going there now. Haworth, Brontë Parsonage. So today's video, I'm going to be channeling Patrick Bronte. And for those of you that don't know him, maybe some international followers might not, I'm not sure. Probably, I'd like to actually say that I think vast majority of the people that watch me will know Patrick Bronte and the fact that he was the father of the Bronte sisters and Branwell Bronte, and also the two children that he lost, Maria and Elizabeth. I'm being told to include them as well, because you're not just a father of the living children, you're also a father of the children that have also passed. Do you know, the lead up to this video has been one of the most bizarrest and gentlest. To an extent, this morning I woke up and I was like, am I actually going to be channeling him today? For example, I'm channeling the Cray twins next week, and literally they're here. Right, honestly, their energy field is probably one of the strongest I've ever experienced, as it would be. So I know that literally we'll be going with that one. In fact, I nearly did a swap around and did them today, but no, I said no, be polite. You're on Claire's terms now, Cray twins. Patrick's first, and then it's you. I think they kind of like that about me. So I woke up, I even went to channel him, and I got this most amazing, gentle sensation from him, this most amazing, gentle energy. And I was like, my initial reaction to it, my God, you have been so misunderstood by certain history books, not all history books, by certain history books. You have been so not seen. Part of you was seen, but not the rest of it, because it's really gentle, loving energy. It was just like, depending on what books you've read, the story. Don't forget he was also a Victorian father and husband. He was an Irish Anglican priest, so he was a man of his time, a Victorian Irish Anglican priest. And he was born in Ireland, and so yes, he will have had the Victorian and Georgian values as well. But this was such a gentleness that I was also feeling. So I'm like, okay, fair enough. And I almost felt a real protective energy against him, because again, depending on what books you read, etc., some authors like to make out the Bronte sisters as weak, feeble women. Oh, they were no Jane Austen. Sorry, not Jane Austen the person, but Jane Austen characters. They weren't that. They were Northern Yorkshire tough lasses. Okay, like myself. I'm from Yorkshire. Live in Lincolnshire now, and each one of them, all three of them, and I just had this feeling that a real disservice has been done to them as well, as though they were somehow victims of the men in their lives. They weren't. And actually it was a real healing moment for me as well, because it was like, no, they weren't victims of the men in their lives. There was so much more to those women that, had they been allowed by, to live longer, we could have seen so much more from them. And I think what I'm hearing is that it was the patriarchy at the time, and also the female energy that didn't want to accept these very different northern women. That was something I'm being shown them in the social scene of London. It was like, what do we do with you? You're not that energy at all. And it feels as though it was actually an attack. It feels as though it's an attack. Sorry, I'm looking down because I've got a deck here with the Bronte sisters on it, Emily. That's why I'm looking down. I'm not being rude. Literary Witches Oracle for my bookworm friends, so I'm not being rude. And it just feels as though and I think it's an attack that we have to cleanse and release, and actually see them in their fullest, most raw. I'm going to go down a controversial route now. The film Emily. I know that's triggered a few people, not on here, not on my channel. But it's triggered a few Bronte fans. I've watched it, and one of you messaged me and said, what did you think of it? I really enjoyed it. I did a post on, because I've got a Bronte Instagram page. You can follow it, it's beneath in the description. And I actually said, again, Emily Bronte was such a strong character. Do we really think the narrative of a 21st century film is going to take that away from her? Because the truth is, any real Bronte fans watching that know the story anyway. They'll watch it, they'll like it, they'll go get on with their lives. And anybody else will just watch it as a movie and just get on with their life. Some people may watch it and go, I actually like this story, I want to Google more, and they'll Google more, they'll find out the truth, etc. But I actually thought that film actually brought out something within all of the players in that story that actually you can't find in the history books. Okay, controversy number 1 finished. So then, just after I finished my sessions this morning, I was thinking about, am I really meant to channel this? Am I really meant to do it today? Is it meant to be grey time? And I got, Papa, don't preach. And literally I stopped. And I was like, and I literally was transported back to the days of Branwell. Papa, don't preach. Now, I don't know this, I'm filming off my phone. I don't know the words to that, lyrics to that. But basically, back in the day, they would have called Patrick Bronte Papa. And obviously, Patrick, was a priest. And he would have preached. He would have stood in the pulpit and he would have preached. So a big part of his life was preaching. Preaching to the poor, preaching to the congregation, preaching to the rich, preaching to his family, preaching to his daughters, preaching to his son. What happens when you've got an ill son, which Branwell was, and we'll look into Branwell in a further channel. I'm going to channel Branwell in the future. When you've got a son that's serious addiction issues, plus I think there were other things going on there with Branwell. And you've got Papa preaching, Papa don't preach. And I thought, yes, I'm meant. Because actually, I'm not a Madonna fan at all. Yeah. You start your awakening page and suddenly she disappears as if by magic. Ooh, I did used to like her in the 20s. And actually, if she comes on now, I can't listen to her at all. Even like the old 80s stuff. Yeah, so for me to get the words Papa don't preach, I was like, that is biblical. That's we're going ahead with this. So I do what I usually do, and I write down the dates of birth and the dates of death. So date of birth was 17th of March 1777 in Rathfiland. Apologies to my Irish followers if I've decimated that or desecrated it, whatever the real word is. I'm sure somebody will let me know in the comments anyway. He was born in Ireland. He died in Haworth, 7th of June 1861. And I was like, boy, that's a lot of sevens, that. 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Something in this. So I went onto Google, because numerology is not what I do. And I'll never come on and pretend that I do it. And I'll always say I had to Google that because I had to Google it. I know a lot of people out there pretend they do everything. I don't do everything. And I'll say to you, it's not my strong point, but I go on Google. And I got 7 equals perfection and eternal life. And again, I heard, Papa don't preach, Papa don't preach. And I just thought, yes, here he was. Bless him, no judgment in this, because there was also this really kind side to him as well that I actually am going to struggle to put into words. But here was a man, Victorian man, a priest, Anglican priest, whose number? That's not his numerology, by the way. That's just the sevens that keep appearing. I mean, obviously my writing is atrocious at times, but 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7, 7. Perfection, eternal life. And I thought, eternal life. I think no matter where this earth goes, we will, as long as there's an earth, we'll always know about the Brontes. Maybe not other authors, but we'll always know about the Brontes, because there's always going to be someone on this planet holding the light and holding the line for the Brontes. So I added the sevens together and I came to number 35. And this is what I got. Building lasting works, assured and assertive. And I was, God, yes. So, building lasting works, he did. He produced the Brontes. He produced them from his loins. He produced the Brontes. So that is his lasting works. He was also an educator, taught them. So, I mean, the numerology here is, I've never known a channeling with the numerology as powerful as this. And I could talk about this for hours, but I will bore people if I do that. Assured. Again, we've got an assured man with a son, Branwell, who was very unassured, very lost in a world that he just probably wasn't ready for. And assertive. So again, we've got the priest and we've got the assertiveness. And I just thought that was amazing. Do you? Let me know in the comments. So I've got my Haworth cup, because I've told you whenever when we go on days out, we get a cup. This is actually from his church. We bought this in his church. Yorkshire tea. I won't tip it up because it'll tip it everywhere. Yorkshire tea made with Lincolnshire water. Okay? Because I live in Lincolnshire. There's not wrong with Lincolnshire water. So let's have some tea. I've set up a little mission of myself to try and get to Haworth at least once a year. It is the one place of Yorkshire that I miss. I do miss. And it was interesting because last time we went to Haworth, we went for a walk down the high street and my husband stopped outside this shop that was for sale and he was stood there for ages and I thought, oh my God, don't start dangling that carrot in front. And he was actually saying, you know, we could have got that and we could have turned it into a shop, we could have turned it into a crystal shop, we could have turned it into a business. And I was like, yeah, maybe one day. It is the only place of Yorkshire that I actually miss is Haworth, true fact. I do love Yorkshire. Not a big fan of Leeds, fell out with Leeds. Leeds has gone too dark for me. Got engaged at Haworth, bit of a waffle going on here. I got engaged at Haworth. We got engaged at Pondon Hall, which was one of the places that she based Wuthering Heights on, as well as Top Withens. And guess what? He put the engagement ring in the window that we stayed in was called Emily's bedroom. And well, it's not Emily's bedroom. It was Emily did used to stay in there when she went to Pondon Hall, but it's called Kathy's room, and it's where she based Kathy's bedroom there with the box bed and the windowsill that's got the Bible and the ring on. So he put the ring on the Bible, and yeah, how romantic is that? And we did that when they were filming, what's it called? To Walk Invisible, because then we went, well, before that, during the day, we went onto the Penistone Crag, where they actually made a big set. That set was amazing. The people behind that set and that was a good series, wasn't it? What was it, a series? I've only watched it as one thing. I don't think it was a series. I think it was a full thing, wasn't it? Anyway, somebody like complaining about that. Don't talk too much. Oh, shut up. Anyway, so we've got some interesting decks in front of me. We've got the Literary Witches by, who was it by? Taisia, cannot say it, and Katy Horan. Okay. Any decks I ever use are always in the description. We've got the Archangel Oracle by Diana Cooper. We've got the Blessed Bee, which I've not used in ages, by Lucy Cavendish. And he wanted this tarot deck, and I don't know why. And I'll tell you why. Because, yeah, that was my block with this. Because obviously he's a priest, isn't he? So he's not going to be into. And he's chosen The Everyday Witch by Deborah Blake. But as even with my personal readings, there'll be cards in here that I'll go, oh my God, now I know why you chose that deck. So I've got them, let me not drop them though. Oh God. I've got their books, crystals. So let's get going. I think one of the things he wants to talk about is when a parent has, well, such conflicting children, as in you've given birth to these children, and he's also saying he wants to talk about children with imagination. That's interesting, about the importance of children with imagination, because there's more of them coming, like the Brontes that have such vivid imaginations, and he's off straight away. And there's going to be this one and this need to try to stop them by some parents and society. There is going to be a whole wave of new creators that are coming, a whole wave of artists, writers, vloggers, bloggers, and they're going to he's actually showing me them very much like the Bronte children not fitting into the school system. He's also saying that he was concerned about the school. I mean, if you look at him, he used to help poor people. He did a lot of charity work. He was a kind, good man. He was concerned back then over the education system, and he's actually saying rather than getting better, the education from where he's standing seems to be getting worse, because as a father of creatives, the system is broken for creatives. He's saying children that are creatives need to be in the right environment. It could be at home, it could be on the moors, he's showing with the moors, it could be on the beach, it could be in the woods, it could be in the bedroom, it could be in the living room. But it's important that he's calling these simple special souls are in a space where they can create. He's now taking me back to Branwell, and he's saying for those of you that have children that maybe are showing signs of addiction, showing signs of being, he's saying extremely different. I've got a feeling that Branwell was extremely different, and it's almost like, oh God, what do we do? How do we cope with this? He's saying it's simple. You ask them what they want from you. You ask them what they want. And he said, and parents can struggle with this, because as a parent, and he's taking me back to his lifetime as a Victorian gentleman that's meant to be in charge of your house, that's meant to be following the rules, that's meant to be setting the rules, putting the boundaries in place, to then have this poor Branwell that was out drinking, cavorting, bringing mayhem to the door. What? It's almost like I'm seeing him. What do you want from me as a father? And it's like, well, that came too late. So asking your children what they want from you. Talking to them, not being afraid of addiction. Because one of the things he says earlier is that addiction is a soul contract. And he says when it comes into a family, you can have 2 children, 3 children, 1 children that are living the normal lives. They're just healthy. They may have their problems. And then there'll be 1. Or it could even be 2. And it'll be like, oh God, what's happened? What's happened? Why? They all grew up in the same family. Why is this happening for just one of them? And he says a lot of it is what they come into the family to show the other family members. And he's actually showing me the Bronte books where so many of the characters in the Bronte books were alcoholic and male and aggressive. Where did that come from? Do you think they've read that in textbooks? They saw that. 17 on my camera. They saw that in the home. And he's actually showing me Branwell's soul contracts and that they're huge. They're huge for the Brontes. He's saying one of the things that him and Branwell have been upset about is the fact that so many have tried to blame them for the demise of the Brontes, the Bronte sisters, and the creativity. But actually, it wasn't their fault. When you're born at a certain time and then you pass at a certain time. And he said, we need as a species to get out of this blaming energy that's out there. It's your fault. It's their fault. If he hadn't been alcoholic, if they hadn't have done that. And we're doing it with each other, with our own family members. But he says we're doing it with our favourite authors, with our favourite writers, our favourite artists. Oh, I just said paintist. Oof. Let's have a cup of tea. And we need to stop the blame game, because actually he's saying we need all elements of the cake to make a cake. I've said this before. We need all elements. A family actually needs all elements, because the Brontes came down to be the Brontes. If they'd have come down to be a peaceful, stable, he's showing me house on the prairie, the Waltons, they'd have had that. They came down to show us something. And it's that powerful. It's still touching lives today. And there's even a book down there. I can't remember what it's called, but when I read it, you guys will love it. And I think it's called, I can't remember why I'm looking because I can't see it. It's called, I think, Reader, I Murdered Him. And it's based on Jane Eyre, but she's twisted it a bit. I've not read it yet, but it's still going on. So rather than looking at what happened, the darkness around it, why don't we celebrate it? Why don't we celebrate all of their aspects? The quiet side they all had. You know, when he's talking about Emily, wild Emily, he's saying Emily wasn't wild. He's showing me, he's taking me to the parsonage now. As we're talking to him, we're in his study, in his office, so can you see me there? So it'd be in here, around about here, okay? You can see me on there, can't you? And he sat in there. It was funny because as I was getting ready, he actually sat down. He was actually quite nervous. You were meant to sit down, they pull the trousers a bit and they straighten the jacket up and everything, and very nervous of us. I'm finding that with a lot of spirit that I channel lately, that they've got this nervousness about speaking to us. Not us, but just because they've been gone for such a long time and not had their voice. So, it was showing me the Bronte sisters. He said he wants to go through each one and show me that me to say the keywords of what I'm picking up on their personality. It's almost like he's asking them one at a time to come into the office. Charlotte's coming in. Wow. I'm saying wow because I can actually see her. And it's blown me because she's a little frame. Mousy blonde hair that, I want to say the word, she looks so insignificant, but she's not. The mind, and the glasses are like, they're not round, they're more oval, but they're very little glasses. It's almost like I think, how can you even look through them glasses? And she stood like that, when the hands are on like that. So keywords: kind, gentle, strong, independent, heartbroken, lost, intelligent, worried, unsure, perceptive, empathic. Who else is coming in next? Emily's coming in next. I have tried for years to actually see them, and I've always struggled, and it's like, wow, I wish I could just give you that and say, there you go. Confused, frightened, angry, loving, misunderstood, fretful, anxious, see, I'm getting the word in love. In love. She was in love with somebody. I'm going to be controversial here. Whoever's written that drama, and I don't think it's the William Wakeman. I don't want to get into that big debate because people keep doing that. Oh, it's like, oh, I said it just for a minute. I don't think it's him, but there's somebody. There's somebody in Haworth that she's in love with. And I know she's very private, and if it's meant to come out, it'll come out. She's in love with somebody. How did I write that book if I wasn't in love, Claire? She said to me that I knew she was in love. So obviously if you've watched my past videos, you'll know why. So that aspect of me, past life aspect of me, knew that she was in love. He married another. Did anybody hear the change in my voice then? The change in my voice. If sometimes you can hear things in your own ear and you don't hear it in your own, and you may not hear it, but I heard the change in, he married another. She was in love. You see, you're not shown that, are you? That's why Charlotte had to get rid of the papers, Claire. I was immensely private. It wasn't meant to be public knowledge. But it feels now that it's the right time that it can come out. There's nothing to come out. She was quite young when she was in love with this person. Because I'm seeing like a young teenager. I'm seeing her sat on the wall. It's not there. The wall, the wall at the round the parsonage that leads into the garden with the gate. I'm seeing her on on the wall facing the church, and she's swinging her legs. She's about. This is Heathcliff and Cathy, because she knew him as a child. This is blowing my mind. She knew him as a child. Yeah, she knew him as a. Let me pull a card for this. Do you remember pulling a card? Right, this is the deck. Oh, sorry. I always, if I drop my crystals, I say sorry. Emily. Chariot, that just fell out, the Chariot. Can you show me two more cards in relation to this? Without reaching boundaries. I'll show you that. I will show you them. Oh, I got a question. How do you pull cards? And I ask their hand to come through mine. Like that. Queen of Cups, which is love. The Chariot. Four of Swords, which is recovery after heartbreak, because it comes after the Three of Swords, which is heartbreak. And we've got the Empress. I need a clarifier. But why? 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 This is just it. I was shuffling, slammed me deck, not slammed, but placed my deck down. I can't believe this. Love offer, loss. It wasn't meant to be. Why am I? I've got the Empress. Was she pregnant? I don't know. I don't know, and I don't know if should we? Can we have a clarifier for that and what you mean by that? Thank you. She wasn't pregnant. That's how she's confirming her creation. She's confirming creation. Nine of Cups. She picked. Oh God. Nine of Cups. The cups were broken. Eight of Cups, broken cups. Nine of Cups. I'm healing. I'm back. I'm creating. Three of Pentacles. Sorry. Three of Cups are three sisters. High Priestess. Eight of Cups. What is Eight of Cups? Yes, Eight of Cups. And the gift. Right, yeah, so there we go. Thank you for that. Ooh, that's lifted me as that. Let me have a slurp of tea. Right, thank you. Anne's got emphysema. She's got something wrong with her lungs. She's... She came in and she was like that. And Patrick said, he was like, I'll show you what he did. It was like, he said when she stops twitching, she's actually quite all right. She feels like she was a bit of a twitcher, like you like somebody that's very, it's probably nervous energy, it's nervous energy. But it's almost like when she's actually away in her own company, she's a different person. She struggles with crowds, she struggles with keywords and Bronte. Decisive, divisive as well, courageous, lovelorn, ambitious, determined, hopeful, enthusiastic, appearance. Look at your appearance. See her as clear as day. I'm rubbish at describing, so let me try. Oh, she's got obviously she's red hair, but it's very, she's got a bonnet on. Got a bonnet, it's like a cream bonnet with like blue piping through it, blue stitching through it. Obviously pulled onto her chin. She's got a green cloak on that feels like it could be like a velvet type material. She's feeling the cold. She's coming in just before she died. She's coming in as she was just before she died. There were secrets. There were secrets. Give some more cards on these secrets. Yeah. Six of Swords, burdens. Knight of Wands. There were secrets. What secret? I need to clear. What I need to ask it a proper question. It as the deck, as in it, as in Anne. What were the secrets, Anne? You see, this is it, isn't it, right? This is it. I am channeling Patrick Brontë, and what happens? It turns into a Bronte sister channeling. He was meant to be the person he was meant to be. He wasn't meant to be the good guy and it's the same with Branwell. They all knew their roles in that story. It's not poor Branwell. It's not poor Emily. It's not Charlotte. It's none of that. They were all uniquely, independently playing their roles. And I've just literally been transported back into Haworth. What were the secrets? Show me the secrets. Show me the secrets. The Fool. Secrets. Betrayed. Tower. Queen of Cups. She's saying, pulled from this deck as well. And Carson, the intellect. What secrets? Secrets. Rebellion. That is I can't say it. Rebellion. The cat. What's a root? The cat. Let me try and let me just look at this. What secrets were there? Secrets in the village. Dark magic. I'm seeing dark magic. Papa was aware of it. Haworth got that history of it. It's not the first time I've actually heard. I mean, I've heard of it more recent. Dark magic. They used to use the graveyard. There's some kind of satanic stuff going on in Haworth back then. Using the graveyard. We all fell victim of it. She's saying, I know, because I do know this, that around Haworth, I've mentioned this in videos, the ley lines and the portals of Haworth. I mean, I'm sure it used to be an old pagan site where the Brontë Parsonage is. If you ever visit, literally the energy is like, honestly it is. Like literally. And yeah. Now we know what we're barking up, what tree we're barking up here. Show me more about this dark magic that was going on in Haworth. Two sisters. It was jealousy. Oh, card that's just come out, deception. There was two sisters in Haworth that were doing black magic, and from what I'm feeling, they were doing it towards a lot of people in Haworth. But the sisters and Branwell, the Emperor. Yeah, a job well done. A job well done. Ace of Cups, look at the witch there. Look at a job well done. We've got the Star card. And we've got the Devil on the shoulder as well. Addiction. But she's also saying it was all part of the plan anyway. The divine plan, the soul contract plan. It was the extra bit of magic, even though it wasn't like magic, that they needed for that story, if that makes sense. Something about these witches as well affecting Branwell's mind. It was like everything was just amplified. She's saying there was a big divide back then between, I mean, I say ours, I don't mean I do black magic, I mean pagans, witches, healers, readers, seers, and the church. She's actually I think she's trying to say that her dad tried to understand it, but there was such a divide. It was almost like the church attacking them and them attacking the church. She's saying the divide on this planet needs to stop. The divide on this planet. Oh, she's talking about this. Have you watched my sorry. Have you watched my Anne Bronte channeling, where I said that she is the reincarnation of JK Rowling? JK Rowling's in the middle of the, I mean, bang smack in the middle of that divide. I'm not going to go into, am I going to go into that? Anne, have you got anything to say about JK Rowling? We will move back to Patrick at some point. She's so interesting. This family is so interesting. Have you got anything to say about JK Rowling? Yeah, 5 of Swords. Cooking pot. Way too many opinions. Toxicity. It's a cooking pot of toxicity. JK Rowling. 3 of Cups. Yeah, she was. She was a sister. She was. She's saying none of us pick simple contracts. We're never going to come back as Joe Blogs. We're just not. We're not going to come back as Joe Blogs. None of us come back as Joe Blogs. We're always going to come back as controversial, dramatic, famous. The Bronte contracts are not going to. If you pick up the people the souls that have picked up the Bronte contracts, are not for Joe Blogs' lives. They may not always be famous, but they're going to be boof wherever they're born into. Big time boof. Makes sense. Thank you. There's a smell of cooking coming from the parsonage now. Patrick's taking me to them when they were children and the imaginations. Escape it wasn't just imagination, it was also being able to escape into different worlds. Be able to access different worlds, being able to appreciate different worlds. Being able to turn fact into fiction. A card for their imagination, please. Are you enjoying this video? It's nice, isn't it? If you've enjoyed this video, you're enjoying it, I've got a playlist on with channelings of all different people. And I've got a Bronte playlist on there that you might find interesting, where I've channeled Charlotte, I've channeled Emily, and I've channeled Anne. I did them a couple of years ago, I think. But yeah. Imagine it. Oh, imagine. Right, okay. Vision, Virginia Woolf's come out upside down. I've not read a lot of these authors. So some of you guys may know more about what I'm pulling here than I do. Eileen Chang, Eileen, Fate. It was fate. It was fate. It was all fate. Creation, turning it into a creation. Virginia Woolf. Whenever I'm doing that, I know I'm onto something. I have never read Virginia Woolf. I only know the name Virginia Woolf. There is something pulling me in to say that. Her. I don't know anything about Virginia Woolf. What I want to say is, where's my tablet? Oh, it's there, I have to turn it on. I nearly strangled myself then. Is she the reincarnation of Emily? There's some kind of a connection. Because I've said, haven't I? I've said that Charlotte's also been Daphne du Maurier. If you saw when I went to Haworth last year, sorry, that's my tablet. And we just had dinner at the Black Bull, and literally we said, "What's that sound?" And it was like squawk, squawks. Like, what is that? And it was just like a sea of birds outside the parsonage, and it was frightening. It was crows, ravens, whatever they are. Every squawk, 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 and it was like, oh my god. And I remember stood there thinking, God, as a child that must have been terrifying, because that would have probably happened a lot. And I was like, that's where birds came from. It didn't just do it for me. Virginia Woolf. I don't know anything about her. Virginia Woolf. Born the 25th of January, 1882, died 28th of March, 1941. Do you know, this picture here is very much like what Emily looked at. What's that? Battery power. Emily Bronte. Oh, I don't want Emily film. I hate when Google does that. Emily Bronte. 30th of July. Oh, here we go. 30th of July, 1818 to the 19th of December, 1848. It's even that 1818 and 1882. It's like the next step, you see what I mean? I know there's 18 and 82 is different, but I'm talking about the numbers, not the sequence of the numbers. What was the date of... We're going to go backwards and forwards with this, aren't we? Backwards and forwards, 19th of December. There you go. Right, what time... Oh, sorry. What time are we on? Oh, should we go next with this? Where should we go next with this? Let's go in. I'll see you in part 2. Bye.